Okay, well, good afternoon. Yeah, so I'm here with Dave Cobble from the president of the Oakland A's and the Board of Supervisors. We just agreed to sell our half interest in the Coliseum complex to the Oakland A's. Obviously, there'll be a 190-day due diligence period, but we've agreed to sell our half interest for $85 million with a $5 million deposit, and we're looking forward to getting out of the sports business and keeping the Oakland A's in the city of Oakland. And now I'd like to turn it over to the president of the Oakland A's, Dave Cobble.
Thank you so much. Truly a historic day. Nate, really appreciate your leadership in getting to this moment. We've worked all year to get to this day and actually to have the 5-0 unanimous vote of the supervisors. Tremendous leadership here in our community to ensure the A's are here for many generations to come, that our waterfront ballpark can come to fruition, and that we can actually have a responsible plan for East Oakland. And so we're very excited about today. It is a historic day. It's a big deal, as everyone said, obviously from the dais. And we're excited to move forward to the next step with our new ballpark and the A's creating a lasting legacy for many generations to come.
Can you look forward a little bit? I mean, you
Yes.
talked about, the 190 days, but I mean, it's taken years to get to this point. There was a pretty big bump in the road just a little while ago from the city of Oakland. Are you nervous at all about now taking it to the next level, not just redeveloping this property, but securing the Howard Terminal site and moving out of that?
I mean, I think what this shows is a true public-private partnership, and the public sector and a private entity that's been in the city and the community for a long time working together collaboratively to solve problems, to ensure that new infrastructure and new projects are actually coming to fruition. And I think that bodes well for our future in terms of the other approvals that will be necessary with the city, with the port, with the other entities, to achieve success for all parties and all stakeholders. And that's really what we're committed to doing. And obviously, we're making a huge financial commitment to this community. $85 million plus the actual operating losses. This is something that no other professional sports team has ever done. The money has always come the other way as a public subsidy to these actual sports teams. We are investing in Oakland, in Alameda County, and we're doing that because we believe in this community. We've been here 52 years. We want to be here 100 more years, if not forever. And that could not be possible without the leadership of Supervisor Miley, the rest of the supervisors, and really their assurances and really good working relationships. Those are all the things that make this even possible.
What about buying the city's half? Where do things stand with that? And how important is that you end up with full control of that whole?
Well, we've communicated with the city that we're open to either a joint venture or purchasing their share, and in many ways the ball's in their court. They're moving through this surplus lands process. But we're here, and obviously now with the county deal consummated, we're hopeful that in 2020 we can achieve the same type of success with the city.
But it's not a deal breaker if you end up in a joint venture as opposed to, you don't have to.
We're open to either outcome. We're kind of agnostic. Like, we look at this and say, hey, we just want to move forward and get a deal, and we want to get construction underway and get the new ballpark opened. And we've been talking about things for a long time, but we just want to actually get a shovel in the ground, ensure that there are new jobs, ensure that the community is protected, and that the entire development is done in a responsible way.
And I just want to say, if all three sports teams, because I've been involved with all three sports teams for about 30 years as an elected official, both on the city council and as a county supervisor, the A's have been, I would think, the best tenant for us to work with, a sports tenant for us to work with over those many years. The Raiders sued the county and the public entities, JPA, many times. We've been in squabbles with the Warriors. Right now we're in arbitration with the Warriors. We have never had those situations with the Oakland A's, to my recollection, in the history that I've been dealing with the A's. And then when Dave became the president, because Lou Wolf was in charge before that, we've always had cordial and very collaborative working relationships. So I think this is an indication of that, and so I'm just happy we've been able to get to this point in time.
I feel like you can, speaking of time, meet your timeline, which I believe is to get shovel in the ground next year, maybe?
Well, we're very hopeful. The draft environmental impact report is going to be coming out on the waterfront stadium in the next 30 days. That's a huge step. That's been a year of planning and work that the city has led. And that's a major milestone. And once that happens, there'll be additional public comment, but then a vote next year of the city council to certify that, which would allow us to have the entitlement rights to move forward and break ground at the waterfront site. So it's happening in real time, and sometimes it feels like couldn't it be faster? But you have to do these things in a responsible fashion. You have to make sure that all stakeholders are brought along, because these are generational decisions, and you have to do them responsibly. And we've been here over 50 years, and we want to continue to be really a positive force in our community.
The EIR being the next, you want to go to the...
Yeah.
Wait, Supervisor Manley made a reference to the fact that, if the Howard Terminal somehow fell through, the Coliseum would be a fallback option. I mean, would you agree with that, or what would you?
Well, we're 100% focused on the waterfront site. We're committing all our effort to make that happen. We're very confident that it can be a success. We wouldn't be several years into that process without that. And we're going to continue to do that and push everything we can towards getting the approvals and getting that shovel in the ground as soon as possible.
But think of it in this sense. If Howard Terminal doesn't work out, and I hope it does work out, and I know there's a lot of hurdles and barriers to overcome, and I really do wish the A's all the best in terms of making Howard Terminal come to fruition. But if it doesn't work out and they don't have a place to land, what do you think would be the outcome? I mean, there's no other property.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you'd have to assemble property, and that's a tough order. So just deductive reasoning tells you that
Yeah.
if they own a piece of the Coliseum, if they have a foothold there, then that can be a fallback.
As far as the EIR, Dave, are there any things that you foresee? I mean, that's coming out in a month. Do you have a sense of what's in it, what the pitfalls could be? I mean, this is the next big milestone for you to have that be seen by the public, have council ultimately approve it, that lets you move forward.
Well, I think the biggest thing, and it's something that a lot of work has gone into over the last year, is the transportation plan. Getting people to and from Howard Terminal, with the railroad tracks there, obviously with the neighborhood, and making sure that's done in a responsible fashion, and that the necessary infrastructure is put in place to achieve that. And so I think that's the number one piece, and I think that's something that we're going to continue to discuss and engage the community on, to ensure that not only is that first draft well received, but that input continues to actually be put in place, so when it does open, it basically moves forward in a positive way.
Can you talk a little bit addressing the concerns of some of the people speaking here today about worrying about this kickstarting more displacement of the African American community here in Oakland?
We've said from the beginning, the A's are committed to a robust affordable housing as well as community benefits agreement with any development. We're doing that in the West right now with the project at the waterfront at Howard Terminal, and that's something that we've committed to with the city, who has the land use authority at the Coliseum site too. So we look forward to working with all the key parties, including the faith-based community, to ensure that their needs are addressed, and that our project can actually be a catalyst to provide really solutions. Because if nothing happens, we know that this displacement will continue. But maybe a project of this scale, with this size, with all its resources, can actually provide the resources to ensure that those communities are protected, and that's something that we're committed to.
And as I kind of alluded to earlier, the Coliseum area, it used to be a redevelopment area. Once redevelopment went away, it's no longer redevelopment, but the Coliseum area historically could could be comparable to downtown in terms of its development potential. There are a lot of solid working class families, African American families that have been a part of East Oakland, many of whom have gone as a result of selling property and going to other places. And then we see a big homeless problem out in Oakland as well, and a lot of the homeless are African American. So it's rightfully so that the clergy and the faith community, they're focused on us trying to prevent additional displacement. And I know in my conversations with the Oakland A's, they're very much committed to trying to work on that situation, work on that problem, to try to see how we can bring about some beneficial solutions. They're open to ideas, and there'll be more conversations with the faith community around trying to see if we can come up with some ideas so that what we do in East Oakland as a result of this really produces a legacy type of project.
Is the county getting a good deal for this?
Yes, we're getting an excellent deal for this, from my perspective. $85 million. It's a little bit above the actual appraisal price. It's covering our cost as well. There's a deposit on top of that. So we've conditioned that the A's stay in Oakland. If they leave Oakland, then we still get our $85 million. So, I can't see any downside. Supervisor Haggerty and myself and the board, we weren't in charge of the direct negotiations. We had a negotiating team that led that, but they kept us informed. And so it took a while to get to this point, but I'm very pleased with the term sheet. Very, very pleased.
Does this close the book for you on the debacle of the Raiders deal, that this debt will be retired, you won't have these ongoing costs?
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Sorry.
Yeah, because some people do know, right, exactly. I was on the city council when we brought the Raiders back here in '96 or thereabouts, and there was a lot of momentum to bring the Raiders back here. It's sort of like, we'll give them the kitchen sink and everything associated with it. And we really thought the personal seat licenses would tie that deal down. The personal seat licenses, it didn't work out, and so the county and the city, we became on the hook for bond indebtedness. And so that's an example of, if I could roll back the hands of time, I'd probably do it a little differently. So yes, this closes the book on that, for sure. And I think that's another reason too, just real quickly, while we were very firm in our commitment, we were not going to provide a public subsidy to the Raiders to keep them in Oakland. We would work on ways of trying to achieve that, but we weren't going to open up the largesse to try to keep them there, like the city of Las Vegas and state of Nevada have done. We just can't compete with that type of a situation. So we learned our lesson from the '95 effort.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nate?
Thanks, Dave.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Merry
yeah.
Christmas.
Yes,
Thank you so
Happy
much.
holidays, yeah.
I love that. BFD.